Hello everybody, my name is John and welcome to our channel and welcome to the, which clearly states, WLToys 144001. This is brand new, absolutely brand spanking new. It was purchased because I need it for the comparison video, but I thought it would be good to show new owners what to do straight out of the box. So, car and transmitter. Get rid of the box. Not a lot. Charger, instruction booklet. Now, once I last did this video, I think it was about 4 months ago, and I didn't have any opportunities to do sort of close-ups and stuff like that, and I have been asked several times to redo the video or to show in better detail how to do certain things and to do it as easily as possible. The reason being, it is to put grease in both of the differentials, and it does look quite daunting. I know it does, but it's actually not that difficult. So there's a few things that we're going to be doing today. Putting grease in the diffs. If you see, I hope I can show this. See how all the wheels are not exactly perfectly straight. So we'll sort that out as well. We are going to put a few washers on the wheels. And I think that's about it, isn't it? It's probably one other thing, but let's move on quickly. Before I go any further, I am just going to make sure that it's all working because I have not had this out of the box. That's on. Okay. I'm going to run this extremely slowly because I suspect that the diffs have zero grease in here right now because that's the reports of these newer cars coming from the factory. Okay, steering. Okay, all four wheels are turning. So, now we can get on. I'm going to take the battery out because that's not needed for a while. I did notice that they've started to cable tie the ESC in position, whereas before the little sticky tape that they used was not very good, let's be honest. Okay. Right, now to get to the differentials. There are 8 screws. A lot of people undo the top ones. I prefer to undo the bottom ones because I just, it stops the bearing falling out. But for today's video, I'm going to be just doing the top ones, okay? I have, no, I didn't do that. Oh, I'm going to be taking photos along the way so that those that are completely new to the car have some idea of where these screws are and more importantly where they go back position wise. This video are not for those that have owned the car for a while and they've already done all of this. It is for brand new owners, kids, parents. Okay, I'm going to take pictures of the screws and the holes that they came from so that it's easy to find afterwards. These ones you actually have to hold, the 2 on the steering columns, hold the bottom, and it should come undone. No, if it doesn't come undone, screwdriver this side and then on the top. As you see, that one's coming undone now, and I will do it again. It's this screw at the bottom, and I'll show you the top. It's not a great position. There we go. This is the 2 I was undoing at the top, so we will continue with those. And I will take the photo. Excellent. Of course I had to drop it, didn't I? There we go. So that's the 4 at the front. Now we have the 4 at the rear. That one doesn't fit at all. Doesn't fit at all either. One thing that you will have to do as well on a brand new car is just double check that all of the screws and bolts are tightened up. But I can say definitively right now, they certainly feel tightened up. I've never had so much trouble getting one of these screws out. Ever. So that's a good sign. The factory's improving on one note. They've obviously, you know, stuck it in with multiple super glue or something like that, because it's never been this difficult to get out. There we go. Here we go. Shish kebabs, that was hard. It definitely feels like these ones are being sort of Loctited into place, but we'll see straight away. There is some gunk on that. They have definitely used gunk on the newer models. Not so much a Loctite, but some sort of gunk. Of course, right next to the motor, because the motor's got batteries in it. Not batteries, magnets in it. There we go, got there in the end, eh? Cool, those two can go there. And I wonder if these two have got the same gunk. No, it doesn't feel like it. Excellent. So now effectively this is off, which is nice, gets it out of the way. Now you have, do you need to take it off? Yes, we'll take it off anyway, because this may be useful in the future for you guys as well. Take off this cover, just pulls off like so, and then there is a little plastic block that also has to come off. That's the one holding the bearing in place. Oh, they've definitely started to build this a lot better. Okay, I do not know what that is stuck in with. Seriously. Big screw there. There we go. So that's the little block that goes back in afterwards. So now we have front differential, rear differential. Both differentials have 6 screws. And they are located, actually, if we can get that out the way, can we? No, it's not going to go out the way, that's a shame. 1, 2 either side. 1, 2, and 1, 2. Get a quick picture. Cool. Right. All of these screws should in theory be the same size, but I suspect that at least the 4 here, 1, 2, 3, 4 should be the same size. Potentially the ones sort of further back could be a little bit smaller. That one's the same. That one's the same. Okay. Can I get to it? No, I cannot. This bar here, which joins both of the steering arms together, I'm just going to take one side off. And if you see, it goes in the outer one. There's 2 holes here, goes on the outer one. Just get that out with the magnet, and then I'll show you. This little flange, or whatever you want to call it, goes underneath, in between the plastic and the steering, and then the screw goes through. So you see it's quite a long screw. Let me try and balance these for a photo so that we know where they go. Nice. Then I can move that out of the way, and then I can get to the 2 hidden screws here. See if they're the same size or not. Yep, they're all the same size, which is very handy. There we go. So, the 6 for the front differential, as they're the same size, can go there for now. You see, the whole top part now comes off, which gives us access to that there, and I can see straight away there seems to be a lot of grease on there. That's impressive. I will still continue because I want to take it apart on the inside as well and make sure that they're greased in there. But on my previous 2 cars, that has had no grease there, or a little bit, but certainly not the amount that was there now. Very good. Maybe they are learning, because this is one of the latest cars. I received it a week ago. No, when did I post that picture? Yeah, it must be around a week ago. So that's good to see. I was getting a bit worried about quality, because there's been a few reports of like this along the top here snapping in a crash and stuff like that. So I thought that maybe they were going downhill, but you know, certainly the screws, a few screws are a lot tighter than they ever used to be. I will show you here in detail. The screws, let's get it in focus, there we go. The screws for the 2 rear are here, it's underneath the wings, so a little bit finicky to get to, but not impossible. There's that one. And again, I'm pleased to report that they're all the same size, which is fabulous. So whether it's the front or the rear differential, you should have 12 screws in total. Brilliant. Very good indeed. One of my cars, one of these was shorter. Only one, not all of them, of course. Right, now I'm going to start on the front first, so I can show you as it happens. Excuse me a second. I know I'm going to need this. When you take them out, notice when the car's on the left-hand side of you, the big coggy gear is facing you. Okay, so when I turn the car around, when it's on the left, the big cog is facing you. Keep that in mind, okay? Because it has to go back in the correct way, because if not, the wheels will be in a reverse. There we go. We'll do the front one for now. Let's see how much grease is here. Okay, not a huge amount. There's none on the actual gear, which is surprising. They have plopped some in there. I can't help but feel that as that spins up and speeds, it's going to fire it off into the casing, but still none on the actual gear. But okay, anyway. As you saw, up to this point, it's just a few screws that need to be undone. It's not a difficult job whatsoever. But what I will say is if you do not grease the gears, if you do not ensure that they have grease on them, you may last for 1 run, maybe 2 runs. You could even get to 3 runs. But then unfortunately the car will start to grind, and a few times after that it's going to break. Right, take a quick photo of this. And then a photo of the screw type, so we have that for future reference. My apologies if I'm sounding a bit off today. I have pulled my back, so I'm on strong painkillers right now. So I'm a little bit loopy, which you probably wouldn't notice because I'm loopy all of the time. But if I start slurring my words or something like that, it's not because I'm drunk, it's because the painkillers are starting to take effect. One, two, three, 4. There we go. Well, my apologies to WLToys. You have improved significantly from what I can see. Now, I'm lucky here, okay? Most other times there has not been grease here, and there are still reports of brand new cars not having grease in. I think for the 20 minutes it's going to take you to do, it's worthwhile double checking it's got grease in it, which it does. Now, a lot of people are going to be here and they're not going to have grease, so I am going to continue to do it because there's a very important step down here that if it's not done correctly will ensure that the whole thing doesn't work anymore. And even I was caught out the other week by the same problem. Okay, so I'm going to get them out, clean them up, put some fresh grease in there. Inside you have a gear, and this one just turns, you know, it's got the screw on it. You can take it out if you want, but I don't see any point, to be honest with you. The screw could snap, and then there's no point. Only one of those days where I use a lot of paper towels. Also, why we've got the grease off them, please take note of where the screws go back in. Okay, screws there, and the pins go there in a cross shape. Okay, again, very easy to make that mistake. I made it the other week, and that's after I've taken these apart hundreds of times. So it's a very, very simple thing to do. Right, these are really simple. They look complicated, but it's literally 2 pins and 4 tiny little beveled gears. But it's the pins that I have to show you. Three and 4. There we go. Again, all the screws look complicated and whatnot. Don't freak out about it. I've taken photos so you can see exactly which screws go back where, okay? Right, now I'm going to take a photo so that I can zoom in, but I will also show it to camera after the fact. There are, in both of these bars, see that little groove? And they interlock to make a perfect cross. Incredibly important you notice that when you put them back in, or else it won't go back together at all. See now? Cool. So I will grab my grease. and we shall put a little bit in. I'm again of the understanding that a little grease is good, lots is better. But it's entirely up to you how much you put in. Just, you know, if you've done all of this, it's worthwhile putting in enough. Don't overfill it though, that's really important, okay? Now, notice how the groove is facing upwards for the first one. Very, very important. Because once you push this down into the grease, you will not be able to see it anymore. Come on. Come on. There we go. Right. Cool. Right, now I have to find those grooves. Remember, crossways. Put it down. You see how I'm trying to get the groove facing upwards. Also notice that I haven't pushed it all the way down as yet. Okay, that was deliberate so that I can make sure that this upper pin is in position before I push it down. So, do the back one first with my shaky, drugged up hands. Ah, really? There we go. Okay, grab it from the top. Make sure it's facing downwards, which it is. Then I'm going to put it in the grooves. There. Now just be gentle with this. You don't have to rush. Take your time on this one and it will save you having to take it all apart again. Okay, see how mine started to twist around a little bit? That's not good. I need to try and tease that backwards. There we go. Just going to use a flathead screwdriver, see if I can get better position. See how that's in position? Now, before I do anything else, I will quickly show you again. See how the cross is now? Perfect. And I will take a photo so that I can zoom in for you while editing as well. Excellent. Right, now put a little bit more grease in, not a lot. Then before you just plonk this down on top, line up the holes nice and early. There we go. Nice. If you have a magnetic screwdriver, try and use it for this part. It's a lot easier, especially when you've got shaker hands like a me. It doesn't have to be electronic like this, it just makes it a lot easier. I keep on getting asked about this. I will put a link in the description. It is called the Wow Stick. I've been complaining along the way about this not being very strong, not being very good. It was pointed out to me that it's not supposed to have a huge amount of torque because it was originally designed for like mobile phones and stuff like that, which don't need a lot of torque on it. It's more precision work, isn't it? So okay. take that off, put it back on that one, just to tighten them up. And then you see, smooth. Very cool indeed. So that one is essentially being done, but we still need to put a little bit of grease in the casing itself. The reason being that you have a gear coming here that rubs against here, so you really should. Right, so I will lift this up, and you see the gear there. Put this one, actually I'm going to go in the other way because I'm going to have to show you how to do the drive shafts as well, so I may as well do that now. The drive shafts, when you take the differential out, they pop out. Okay, so what you can do is on the top, it's called a tie rod. If you grab it with any sort of pliers and whatnot and do a twisting action, it will pop off. Okay, let me show you. Like so, and then on the other side, like so. You see I wasn't particularly careful with that, nice and simple. That also gives me a little bit more room to put some grease in there. So I will do that now. Beautiful. Make sure, while we're here, it is potential that these two bearings will come out of position. Just make sure they're in line, and on my one they are in line. I will take a photo. Cool. You don't have to worry about the drive shafts now, just let's get the differential screwed back into position, and as we know that is 6 of these screws. Can't see because the light's in the way. 1. 2. 3. Oops. 4. 'See if this one will fit a little bit easier. 5. I'm going to tighten them up a little bit more. 'Oh, it's not easy to see. There we go. Nice and nice. Okay, now to get the drive shafts back in, take a quick photo. All you do is the wheel turns with the front drive shaft, so line it up and slip it in. Sorry, it's been 30 minutes already on the big camera, so it's got a 30-minute timer on the recording. So drive shafts in to the differential, then all you do is you take your tie rod and push it back onto, let's take a quick photo, onto the ball joint. That simple. The other side, same thing. Get the tie rod out of the way, line up the drive shaft, turn it, come on, There we go. Onto the ball joint and click it into position. That simple. So that is the front differential done. While we're here, I don't want to forget doing the steering. This one faces upwards underneath this metal bracket here. So I'm going to try and hold it carefully. There we go. And then I'm going to move the wheel. I try and use some arrows to point to what I'm actually trying to show in the pictures, but I think this is a good way of people getting used to their cars straight out of the box. For those parents that are like, do I really have to do all of this out of the box? Please remember that these are more hobby grade than they are toys. They go quite fast. You can see by the metal and whatnot, it's a better quality item. So yes, you do have to do it, I'm afraid, if you don't want it to break on, I don't know, the third day of Christmas. Anyway, let's get the rear out. Come on. Oh. There we go. You've just seen me do the other end, so I will blast through this quickly to save you some time. Okay, welcome back. The same procedure. Undo the tie rod at the rear. Pop it off. And the other side, pop it off. Ooh. There we go. These drive shafts come out so they can just be put to one side while we're putting the diff back in. Don't forget to have it facing you, the big gear. And then we put some grease in. Again, do not forget to line up the two bearings there, very important, as it won't close if they're not lined up. And even if you manage to force it, it's not going to run very well. Okay. There we go. 6 screws again. Okay, 5 screws because I just dropped that one. Oh, there it is. To the rear, not that one. Okay, now drive shaft wise. As I said, these ones are loose, so you have to put it in both ends. Wheel first, and then lift it up and line it up. Take a quick photo. Then you grab the tie rod and you plop it on again. These are not hard to put on, but if you do have problems, there is a quick way to do it. Take the trusty old pliers, put it either side. It's not easy to do as I'm trying to record at the same point. Squeeze it. There you go, that goes back on. And then same thing. Oops. This side. Tie rod up around the way. Like that. And that. Cool. Cool. Right, now. So that's both ends done. We shall start to put this back together now. Job number 1 is the cover that we took off. It's got 2 chunks out one side and one the other. The 2 chunks go forward. Okay, it fits quite nicely. Do not forget this little one, really important. Just goes on there and you push it down. Now, you could potentially have a little bearing that's fallen out at some point. It falls out of all my other cars, just this one it hasn't done. It goes back on the top of this steering, okay? But it hasn't on this occasion, fabulous. So, put this back over the top. I need to make sure I haven't got any wires caught, like that one was about to get caught. There we go. Now, you put the screws back in the same way they came out. So these 2 tiny ones go at the rear. Like so. And these with the big circular head on top go next. Remember, these are the ones that had the gunk in, so they're going to be a little bit tighter to get back into position. Turn it by hand. Nice. These 2 have got the same sort of big circular head on, and these go on the steering here. Okay, last but not least, the 2 diddy ones right at the front. Just going to quickly tie up the ones that we've just done. Right, there we go, beautiful. Okay, so that was the differentials, done. And then I was talking about the wheels. Now this car does suffer from a few issues after you've run it a few times. Specifically, the wheels become a lot more wobbly than this, but there are a few things you can do to stop that happening, and I want to show you one of those now. So if I turn this on the side and get that there so it'll hold it in position. There we go. I just use this to take it off, but you do have the tool in the pack. One thing that I do recommend that you buy as well are spare ones of the wheel nuts, because they will come off at some point. So, wheel comes straight off, and as you see, you've got the shape here of the hex nut here, it's called. Pull that off. You see the play that you've got there, it is quite a lot. And just take a photo. What we want to do is put a washer in there. These are M4 washers that I've got. So what you do is you take the little pin out. I'll just put that down there for now, and then you put the washer on. Done. Take the pin and then you lift this back up again and put the pin back in. Now see how that's so much better already. So there's that one there. The hex nut goes back on, very simple. Just make sure that you line up the pin here with the cross, and you'll know when it's in position because it will sit better like that. So all you then do, put the wheel back on. You know once that's in position because one of the other wheels will turn, and you see the rear ones. Can you? Yeah, see the rear ones turning. If you get smaller wheel nuts than these ones, which that I've got on my other cars, you will need to put a small washer, an M3 washer, here, which will do the same sort of thing as this one, keep the wheel sort of central. But because I have the original wheel nuts, I don't need that for now, but just keep that in mind if you swap the wheel nuts out at some point. Now, the question about how much do you tighten these? Tighten them too much and the wheel simply won't turn. And what I mean by that is if I see how these are turning, now watch what happens when I tighten this too much. Not turning anymore. So I usually go back half a turn at a time. Half a turn and half a turn. There you go. That's enough. Okay, now on the rear ones, just make sure we're in focus again. Do the same thing. They put this gunk on the wheel nuts on this car as well. So many new improvements on these cars. Again, well done WLToys. You've obviously been listening to the community, even if you're not willing on answering their emails. See how what happened there with the hex nut came off with the wheel. You can just pop that off. Just comes out, you see. So same thing on this one. Let's see what the play's like. Yeah, quite significant. Take the pin out. M4 washer on, and there we go, taking a lot of that play away. Back on with the wheel nut, the hex washer, is that what we call it? Anyway, there you go. And back on with this. Too tight. Half a turn. Beautiful. These two on this side, as you've seen me already do it, I'm just going to fast forward through. Okay, I'm just going to stop fast forwarding now because this pin, they seem to have stuck it in. I can see that some of the gunk or the glue that they've used for the wheel nuts has actually fallen down, so I need to get that out. There we go. Yeah, you can definitely see all the glue coming out with it on the other side. Wouldn't have caused any damage, it's just, you know, had it gone any further, it would have gone onto the wheel nut, which would not have been good. There we go. Right, now, last thing I wanted to show you was on the rear here, you have these little plastic, they're called sleeves. And what that does is when it's on its outer setting, it's causing the rear, there we go. When it's on its outer setting, it's causing the rear wheels to point forwards, inward toe, okay? Which isn't great because it causes some, or when you accelerate, it causes it to wiggle its arse a little bit, which isn't what you're after. So all you need to do is undo these two screws. So I shall do that now. You need to be a bit careful because the whole suspension could potentially fall apart now. Okay? Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Not potentially, the whole suspension will fall apart now. Let's turn it upside down. That's the screws that came out of there. Okay? So, now, this bracket is effectively free. So just see what happens with the pins. They sort of pull out. Now if you see how on that bracket they're both on the outside, you can turn these around. So you push it from the other side like so. They're in tight, but they're supposed to be. There we go. So you see how it can be turned around. So that one's on the outside, so I need to turn this around on. Come on, get level. There we go. Now you see what I've done. This one's closer to that hole than that one is a lot further away. So let me just do the other side as well. There we go. So now we need to put this back on, but we need to keep the pins in the other end. If the pins pop out, it's not the worst case in the world. You just put that end in first and then this end, but try to keep the pins in the furthest end in position, and now you see that's done. So I will put one screw in. There you go. And then the other screw in the other side. It's just started raining a little bit here, so I can't take it out and show you guys it running. That's frustrating. Oh. So now you see how the rear wheels are a lot straighter now. Turn it upside down. They're a lot sort of along the chassis now rather than pointing in, which is good. However, I hope you can see the front are not straight whatsoever. So again, I can show you how to do this. This one, or if I do that, this one is pointing a little bit, that they're effectively pointing out a little bit, like so. So you have something up here. See that little hole there? Here, if you wind it inwards or outwards, I can't remember which way is which, it will effectively, okay, rewind. Ignore that one, I wasn't talking about that one, I meant the steering arm here. This one, once you sort of move it inwards or outwards, same principle, what that will do is will move the wheel like that. If you do it on the upper one, it'll move the wheel like that. The camber of the wheel can be changed. You could do that as well, that's up to you, but for now we're only doing steering because that's the thing that needs done most. So if I start to turn it now, I will do it that way first. 50% chance to get it right. So oh, looks like that was working. I didn't know, I'm not sounding surprised. I'm surprised that, 50% chance to get it right and I got it the right way. That never happens. Beautiful. Yep, already that's straighter. Right, ladies and gentlemen, where did the battery go? I'm not going to run it fast straight away because all of the grease needs to bed in a little bit, so you just let it run a little bit. But as soon as the weather clears up, I will get it on the roof and give it a quick blast to show you all. So, controller. See how the steering's off to one side? You have the adjustment here on the steering to straighten it up, left, right. So there you go. Now I'll go slowly. See how that wheel's not moving very much? That means that that wheel nut's still too tight, and which is a very simple thing. Half a turn. Half a turn. There you go. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That quickly. I say quickly, it's taken about 50 minutes from start to finish, but the car is now ready to be run at full speed. Once you get this up on wherever you're going to drive it slowly around a little bit so that the grease has a chance to do its stuff, but then you can just blast it and not worry about these gears in the differentials being chewed up like what would have happened without the greasing. And have some fun. Check out my other videos because I have some videos on how you can increase or decrease the ride height, which is better for sort of tarmac and whatnot. And there's a few RC basics videos that I have as well, just on ball joints and wheel nuts and stuff like that as well. So take a look at those. This video is actually for this Wednesday coming, which is in 2 days' time. I'm hoping the weather will improve so I can get some running with this car to show you that everything was working fine on it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe as well, and hit that notification bell for future video alerts. And I wish you a good day today. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.